Good morning, all. I hope the day finds you well. This video is a follow-up to the one I put out the other day about the new coronavirus, the 2019 nCoV. Now, what I neglected to say at the start of that one is I am not a doctor, nor am I a nurse, but I am a very good professional personal support worker. I am a science nerd. I am a medical nerd. And any information I get or pass on to you are from legitimate sources, such as the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, the WHO, that is the World Health Organization site. There are also other sites, and they tend to be out of the States. Pardon me, sorry, I've been sitting down here. Anything with an NIH in the title, because that's the National Institutes of Health. So, but right now it's the CDC and the World Health Organization. So yeah, any of that information I give to you comes from there. So now I've gotten that out of the way. So the first thing I would like to say in all of this is please do your best to try not to panic. I know it would be easy to panic, especially for those who lived the SARS outbreak. I lived an hour and a half away from where it was, so I didn't really panic. Well, I'm a level-headed person anyway, but for me it was kind of far away, but I was watching to see, if it was making its way up. But yes, those who lived through SARS, they're going to be a little sensitive about this. So, and I can understand that. So yeah, but do your best, because when you're in a highly emotional state, your decision-making capabilities are not what they could be, and you can make decisions that you might regret, that you can't take back, that may go badly. So I just wanted to say that part. Now, I'm going to get to consulting my notes here. So one of the first things I want to say is last night I read a story where there was a confirmed case in Ontario at Sunnybrook. This morning I read another story that says there's a presumptive case in Sunnybrook, which means it hasn't been confirmed. And I was like, wait a minute, how come that said that and this says that? So I read the second story, and I learned a thing I did not know. Sunnybrook confirmed it, but in order to get the proper set in stone, so to speak, confirmation, they have to send samples to, hang on, the National Collaborative Center for Infectious Disease in Winnipeg. I think that's Winnipeg. Yeah. I guess it's like Canada's CDC. I did not know. so that's the thing. And they send it there, and that's when it's the definitive confirmation. So another story said there are 5 presumptive cases in Canada now, but I didn't read the whole thing, so I don't know if it's 5 besides that one or including that one. So I'll be keeping an eye on that one. And another thing too is, you see, a big enemy right now is international travel, because the thing of it is, it's like with a cold. You can be infected with a cold, but you don't get symptoms till a few days later. You can also, and then in the meantime, you're passing it around to people. You can also catch the organism but not get sick, and you're passing it around. And what that does is that makes you a vector. A vector is a thing that carries the germ from place to place. Example, the plague back in, was it 16, whatever, back in Europe. They used to think it was the rats, but it was the fleas on the rats. The fleas had the disease. The rats were the vector. You see what I mean? I hope I explained that well enough. I can get a little sciencey sometimes, and when people's eyes start rolling back in their heads, I know I need to tone it back a bit. So there's that. So that's why, people can catch it, not show symptoms, and then they fly and come over here, and boom, we've got it. So that's how that happens. Now, one of the main things about this disease is we don't know enough about it right now. 2 of the main things that determine how bad a disease is something called the R naught and something called the case fatality rate. Now, I know your eyes are rolling back. Just bear with me here. What the R naught is the spreadability. For example, if I have the flu and I give it to 3 friends, and each of them gives it to 3 friends, and so on, that R naught is 3. You understand? It's the amount of people infected by the initial infected person. And if you got that reference, kudos to you. The case fatality rate is exactly what you think it is. It's the amount of people who die. And it can vary wildly between diseases. I'll give you an example. Ebola. Ebola was one, whenever you hear about it, it kind of like, it flares up, it's all over news, and then it disappears. Then you have something like HIV, which you can have for decades and not know it. You can spread it to a lot of people, not know it. You may not get symptoms for decades. With Ebola, now I didn't check to see what the R naught is. I'm not sure what it is, but the reason why it flares up and dies is because people tend to die before they can spread it. With HIV, on the other hand, it lives long and prospers because you don't know for decades that you've got the virus, and you can spread it around all over the place because you don't know you've got it. So there's things like that. So yeah, the R naught and the case fatality rate, we do not know what that is yet. And just, I'm plugging it again, but one of my favorite movies is Contagion. because to me it's a realistic uh, um, um, expression of how the CDC backtracks to find out where these things are. And she actually goes through, it's Kate Winslet, she goes through explaining what the R naught is. I tell you, I nerded out for that movie. She also talks about not touching your face, because you can do it, you do it subconsciously. Thousands, she said, I think they said thousands of times a day. You can do it and not realize it. So yeah, so there are those things. Now, they talk about the source. There was a claim that the source was a wet, what they call it, a wet market in China. What that is where you have live animals and they do the slaughtering and the bodily fluids and stuff. The thing is, I believe that's the best theory right now. They don't know for sure yet. I know other theories have been, it was a pig farm, it was bats, snakes, I think it was. So the speculation right now, but that's the best theory I think they have, is that. Now, there is also a concern that when SARS came about, it was said that some people out and out said that China lied about the numbers. Well, you know, they were underreporting their numbers. Whether they did it deliberately or not, I don't know. I will not. It may well be, but I wasn't a fly on the wall. I cannot say for sure because I do not know. It looks bad, though, and some people are worried they're doing the same here. Again, I have no idea. So I think that's all I've got for now on that part, and I'm just going to reiterate precautions. You know, don't touch your face when you're out and around until you can clean your hands. Don't go near sick people. Don't go out when you're sick. Refuse sick people entry to your house. Carry hand sanitizer in a gel form or a spray form. Carry masks. And on that, now, I have what we call PPE in the line of duty. It's called personal protective equipment: gowns, gloves, masks, booties, hoodies. Now, the mask, some people are saying a regular mask won't work. Well, there's something called the N95. It's this healthcare particulate respirator and surgical mask. Now, some of them, there's different kinds. Some of them are, you know, the round one, but this is the one we have. And it comes individually wrapped, and it looks like this. And they have the instructions on the little plastic, which is you basically open it up. Let me just see here. And then what you do is you put it over your, I'll just do this for you. There's a metal piece. You put it on like this, right? And then you adjust the nose piece to fit. Now, here's the thing. These things need to be fitted. We do a thing, it's called, it's like a low pressure test or something. We put this on, they put a thing over our head, and they inject something that has a smell to it. And if we can smell the smell, that means the fit is not good. And I've lost a bunch of weight, so I'm not sure if these fit right anymore. So I've gone to my health and safety committee. Oh, they're terrible. I know, but you know, for your protection. And you need to, I said, we haven't done a refit in years, and we really, really should. When there's been any changes in your body weight or anything like that, changes your face, so it needs to be refit. I read from people down in the city that apparently there's being runs on masks and there's nothing left. So check your auto supply, like Princess Auto, places like that, medical supply, anything like that. And, you know, and someone actually made a reply. They were saying, you know, I'm sure I know the answer to this, but when people, you know, they're doing a bag of chips and then they give you, and so you reach in. No, don't do that. Don't do that either. And lastly, setting up a sanitizing station in your house, inside the front door, or even in your building, because I know some of you live in condo buildings. So if you can get your board, however it works, to set up a sanitizing station in the lobby, foyer, whatever you call it, a table with masks, with sanitizing stuff, and instructions saying, please use this, with a sign showing the proper way to use it, because there is a proper way to sanitize your hands. People tend to forget in between the fingers. That's a big thing. And you can even, you know, it's probably, I'm sure it's within your rights to post a sign on your building. Well, you'd have to check on that. You know, on your house, you can say, do not come in here if you're sick. But the station with the mask and everything, if you insist on having in someone who is sick, make them wear a mask. And then, as I said, wiping down doorknobs, light switches, your car steering wheel, your cell phone. And I'm going to keep doing this. You're probably going to get sick of me, but I mean well. I want people to be as protected as they can be. So I've gone over 10 minutes now, so I'll stop. But anyway, yeah, that's it. If you need to know anything else, you can go to those sites I told you about, or you can post comments and questions underneath, and I'll see what I can find out for you. Anyway, stay healthy, stay safe, and well, I usually say, you know, get your flu shot. Doesn't protect you against this, though, but yeah, all we can do is the best we can, you know. Have a good one all.